Hi everyone, welcome to the part 2 of my UK university application trilogy. In this video, I will share with you how you could maximize your chance of getting into the universities that you want, be it Oxbridge, the London Universities, or other Russell Group's universities. I will touch upon the topic of what the university entry requirements are, how to meet them, and how you could enter your grades in the UCAS system. That includes your A-levels and GCSE grades, your IELTS or TOEFL grades for meeting the English language requirement, and your admissions test results. If you are interested in applying to UK universities, but you are not sure how, or if you encountered any problems with the admission process, I suggest you check out my previous video on how to apply to UK universities through UCAS, starting from scratch. After you completed that video, you could come back here to learn about how you can maximize your chance of getting an offer. So a little bit about myself, I applied to read economics in the UK last year, and I currently hold offers from UCL and Warwick to study economics there. What we're going to do now is look through my academic qualifications, all the A-level and GCSE grades that I've inserted, and give you an idea of what grades you should strive towards in order to stand a higher chance of getting an offer or an interview. Without further ado, let us begin. So right now we're looking at the education section of my UCAS application last year, and I'm going to show you my grades for A-levels, GCSE, IELTS, and my TOEFL, which is the admission test. So in the last video, I've shown you how you could insert the academic qualifications in your UCAS application. So this video, I'm going to show you what I inserted last year and how this grades has contributed to me getting an offer from UCL and Warwick. Also, it is worth noting that I applied to Cambridge and LSE as well, and I got shortlisted by Cambridge, so it weren't the grades that prevented me from getting an offer from Cambridge, it was the interview. As for LSE, it was for a different reason which I will share in the part 3 of this trilogy. So let us get on with the video. Right, as you can see, firstly we have the IELTS. You can see that the band is still pending for all of the modules. It's listed here. That's because I haven't sit for the IELTS exam at the time when I applied to the universities. Now, I'm sure that some of you might ask, wait, why do you have 2 IELTS results? I sat for my first IELTS in 2022, and this one is for 2024. So I want to explain that's because the previous IELTS results was already invalid because it was taken more than 2 years ago. So I had to sit for the IELTS again. So in reality, I sat for my second IELTS exam in April 2024. But this is just here so that I could declare my intention to sit for a second IELTS results. Because some universities, they do require your IELTS results to be up to date, so they wouldn't accept if you sit for IELTS more than 2 years ago. And that's why my university guidance counselor has decided that it would be better for my application to include the new IELTS results here in my application. So the way you would insert the newer IELTS results which you haven't set for is you put another place of education. So in this case, it's British Council Kuala Lumpur, and you put it as part-time from March to March, and then you insert the IELTS grades. So that's it for IELTS. I probably spent too much time talking about IELTS. So IELTS is for meeting the English language requirement. If you come from some other countries such as Singapore or Australia, you don't need to submit an IELTS result because you already come from an English-speaking country. The next thing we see is our history grade. So remember that I sat for A-level history as a private candidate. I did not take it as part of my subject in college. So you can see that I opened another column for A-level history, which is separate from my college. So I did the exam with British Council, and that's why I put it under there from October 2023 to November 2023 as part-time. As you can see, the grade was still pending back then because while I was applying, I hadn't received my grades. And now that we got A star for it, so the predicted grades was accurate because I was predicted A star for history A-level and I achieved that grade eventually. Let's move on. Then came my college, which is College Yayasan UAM Malaysia. As you can see, I put my TMUA results under this column as well as my other A-level subjects and AS subjects. So the TOEFL, which is the entrance test for Cambridge Economics, the results is still pending because at that time I haven't sat for the exam. You need to include this as well. The way you include it is quite simple. You just go through the education section. Under the place of education, they'll ask you to submit your academic qualifications, and you could find entrance exam, including TOEFL, LNAT, MAT, and others like that. So you just put it in and then put it as pending. So the others are my A-level grades and AS level grades. You could see that my economics A-level, there are 2 separate grades. because in 2022 I got A for my AS Economics, and in 2023 I got A star for A-level Economics. So that's after I sat for my A2. Are you required to put two separate qualifications here? I will say that you are advised to do so because in your A-level certificate you can see that they are put as separate qualifications. So it's better for you to put it separately. Also, you could see that my AS Biology is put here as well as A, and I did not have A-level Biology because I haven't sat for my A2. So I dropped my biology subject after I've completed the AS exam. For further maths, it is A star. I sat for the exam in June 2023, so you can see that that's the grade. And I sat for my AS and A2 further maths in one go, so I only have one column instead of having two, as I did for economics. Also, for mathematics A-level, I have just one, so it's similar to further mathematics. I sat for both my AS and A2 in the same sitting. You could also see this IELTS. I sat for it in June 2022, so that's more than 2 years ago. That's why I included a newer IELTS results, which is pending. I did moderate for the IELTS first time because it meets all of the requirements, but it wasn't exactly a spectacular results. So that's for my KYUEM grades. Let's move on to my GCSE. I took 10 subjects in total for my international GCSE. These are accounting, and maths, biology, Chinese first language, econs, English first language, ICT, Malay first language, Malay foreign language, and maths. 10 subjects in total. I received 8 A stars and 2 A's. Which are the subjects which I got 2 A's? The first one is Chinese first language. I really should have got an A star for this subject, but there's nothing I could do to change it now. And English first language. For English first language, it was quite surprising because I thought I would get a lower grade than A. I thought I would get a B, but it's a good thing that I got an A for English GCSE because it is much more convenient for me to get into a college, which is good. And for A-levels, I received 4 A stars and 1 A for AS Biology. So the 4 A stars are in history, further maths, and econs. So these are my grades. Personally, I think these are quite competitive. Of course, some people apply with 5 A stars and those are quite good. Right now, let's look at Cambridge entry requirement for economics. Right now, we're at the Cambridge Econs webpage and we're going to look at the entry requirements. So for A-level, the minimum offer level is A star, A star, A, which is, I would say, quite standard for an economics course. And some colleges in Cambridge do require you to have A star in certain subjects. For example, if you're studying A-levels, these 4 colleges require further mathematics. Colleges usually require you to achieve an A star in both maths and further maths. If you are applying to Trinity, you also need an A-level in an essay-based subject. I would say it's quite a good standard. They say that the minimum level is A star, A star, A, but I think in reality, you need at least 3 A stars to be considered for the course. So they also have additional clause for further mathematics. They say that A-level further math strongly encouraged. If unavailable or recognize its desirability too late, we advise you to do as much additional maths as possible. What the majority of economics students have studied, 87% of entrants have achieved at least 3 A stars. Most have studied economics, further maths, or both. So 86% of applicants took both economics and further mathematics. You are also required to sit for the Temur, and you don't have to submit written work. So that's basically the entry requirements. As you can see, it's somewhat competitive. But when you meet the minimum requirement, once you exceeded that point, then you need to perform for Temur and the interview as well. So I would say the system is somewhat fair, but I think sometimes colleges place more weighting on the performance in the interview. That added a little bit of arbitrariness in the selection process. And sometimes colleges have their discretion to reject the student with both very good GCSE and A-level results. Also did well for Temur, but still got rejected. So that's around the end of this video. I just showed you the entry requirement for Cambridge Economics. Some other universities like LSE and UCL have similar entry requirements, but they don't require you to sit for the Temur. I have also shown you how to insert all of your admissions test results, IELTS results, and GCSE A-level grades into the UCAS system. But I think the main message is this: you have to work hard for your A-level and GCSE grades. If you are currently in college or schools, self-discipline and study motivation is very important for getting a good grades. While there are other admissions criteria to work hard for example the interview, TEMUA, and personal statement, the most important thing that will get your foot across the door is the grades. For the majority of universities, grades is the first point of selection. So at that stage, if you could not prove that your application is competitive enough, you will not even make it past the shortlist. As for study and revision techniques, I think the most important point is to keep up the motivation and follow a strict study schedule. For example, setting up a fixed portion of your day to study for different A-level subjects, or maintaining a regular sleep schedule. Once you're confident about your performance in AS or A2 exam, you can then focus writing good personal statement as well as preparing for your interview or admissions test. You could check out the part 3 of my trilogy on my personal statement, which is the one I used for my UCAS application last year, and the personal statement that got me an offer from UCL and Warwick. I trust that this video is helpful to you, and all the best for your studies and other endeavors. For extracurriculars, UCAS does not have an additional column for you to fill up all of your extracurricular activities, so you have to mention them in your personal statements. So I will defer talking about extracurricular activities for now, and talk about that in the personal statement part. If you find this video helpful, please hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. If you'd like to share any views or any ideas regarding this video, feel free to comment in the section below. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.